Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome to another episode of the Cardone Solutions Podcast. I'm your host of the Cardone Solutions Podcast. My name is David Bradley, training facilitator and coach with Grant Cardone. I am bringing you, just you, weekly sales solutions, sales tips, sales strategies, and a couple attitude adjustments thrown in there for good measure from the 10X world of Grant Cardone. Check it out. 80% of what we do here is 100% free. So, the purpose of the podcast is to make sure that the free stuff we're putting down, you are picking up, and then you're plugging it into your sales, your business, and your life, and you're getting some results from it. So, thank you in advance for hitting that subscribe button. And if you're getting some value from it, if it's helping you, then it's going to be helping somebody else too. So do me a favor for the flavor. Share that sucker out into the cyberspace so other folks can get something from it too. So today's episode, we're going to be talking about the comparisons between MMA and sales and business. But first, quick word from our sponsor. Today's episode of the Cardone Solutions Podcast is brought to you by Cardone University. This is the #1 sales training program on planet Earth. This is the program, the path, the tool, the resource center for you to increase your income and grow your sales. When? Today. Not tomorrow, not yesterday, today. Okay? Here's what comes with it. Full access to Cardone University, over 800 plus business courses, private Cardone U Connect community over on Facebook, exclusive Grant Cardone live streams, private Q&A sessions with your Uncle G, access to never before released content, access to live weekly training sessions, and special membership pricing on all products and events. So, to get more information or just to get started, head on over to cardonesolutions.com/CardoneU free. cardonesolutions.com/CardoneU free. What's the free part about? Well, we're giving 2 weeks, 14 days free access to you so you can go in there, check it out. The #1 reason people don't sign up for this program, they don't think they're going to use it. So take 2 weeks, test yourself. See if you have the discipline to spend 2 weeks on getting you better at sales, at business, at life, okay? And if you decide to stay on it after the 2-week period, it's only $97 a month. But if you're thinking to yourself, Dave, I don't need 2 weeks. I know this is the right thing for me. How do I get started? We have a special offer for you for those that take action now versus in 2 weeks. Over at where? cardonesolutions.com/coaching. 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 Head on over there. Check it out. Alrighty. MMA, business, sales. What do these things have in common? Okay? Actually, a lot. Everyone's fighting. Everyone in both these areas, we're fighting. We're fighting right now, as a matter of fact. Fighting to make our dreams a reality. You have to have discipline to be successful in both of these things. You have to have heart, drive, work ethic, tenacity, and persistence. So now I'm a big fan of Conor McGregor, and so is Grant's. Grant wrote a blog about in 2019, pre-pandemic. I tripped into it and I thought, hey, this is appropriate stuff here. Conor, he's from Ireland, right? He's won and he's lost. And he's also done very, very well in business. Okay? Proper 12. So, just like Conor, with every defeat, you must, not just him, you got to get back up and you got to try again. You have to keep coming back over and over and over again. Every defeat, come back. This is what makes you strong. If you go all the way back to Grant's, some of his original stuff, the rules of success. #1 rule, show up. Okay? If you don't show up, you can't be successful. Conor shows up. Imagine if he'd have thrown in the towel after his first loss. He'd have been done after 3 fights. Just three. This is before he got in the UFC. Because after he won his first 2, he then got submitted by a knee bar, I think. Just imagine, what if he just had to, quit? Forget, how we know who he is now. What would that have done for him? If he'd have just thrown in the towel today. Nobody would know who he is. He wouldn't be where he is. And you don't need to have, fighting skills, or you don't need to be an MMA fighter if you want to have confidence and then bounce back from difficulties. That's something every one of us can have. That's about courage, which is taking action in spite of your fears. If you're not scared, I saw an interview with Grant recently about this. Like if you're not scared, then you're not being courageous when you do something that other people would consider courageous. In order to be courageous, you got to have some fear going on. Like look at soldiers. They're very humble. They don't really consider themselves brave, even after they've endured hardships. Like they're just doing what needed to get done. You ever heard that? Some guy rescues somebody out of a burning building. Like, how'd you do that? It's like, just needed to get done. Now, fear, we've actually talked about it a couple times on the podcast. It's something every one of us faces. But the way to get to victory, if we're talking sales and we're talking MMA, you got to attack it. You got to dominate it. You got to keep putting your attention on the future, which is where you're going. So if you're in an octagon, it's winning that fight. If you're in sales, it's about closing that deal. And if you're frequently doing things that scare you, make you uncomfortable, kick you out of your comfort zone, ultimately they'll start scaring you less. And then at some point you're going to wind up wondering, why did that even bother me in the first place, man? Fear, ultimately, when used correctly, turns into and becomes confidence. So now I don't know about where McGregor's at right now when he steps into an octagon. I don't know what was going on for him in his last fight with Dustin Poirier. Maybe he's scared. He's got a hell of a poker face, though. But the only way he has confidence now, though, is he gets in there. And he puts himself up against a guy like Dustin Poirier. Dude's a stone-cold assassin. Hope Joe Rogan doesn't mind me stealing that phrase. He's a stone-cold killer. But when you put yourself up against the best, you're going to win sometimes and you're going to lose sometimes. Unfortunately, for a lot of folks, many of us, when we get hit with fear, we tend to retreat. And when you retreat from something, you're not taking action. But when you take action, press forward, push in, and you train, you get some victory under your victories, more than one. That's where the confidence comes from. That's where it shows up. Confidence and self-esteem, they're earned. Or they're eroded through two things, choices and behavior. And the exact same thing that this applies to sales, it applies to business, it applies to marketing, and it applies to MMA. When you close a deal, right? When you close somebody, you feel better about you feel better about your pitch, you feel better about the product, and when you don't close, now you don't have to let it bother you. Like a fighter, right? You get back up, you lose a round, you still come back for the next round. You lose a fight, you still come back for the next fight. Hopefully you learn something from it. You know, Misha Tate said that. She goes, hey, I either win or I learn. Because I'm not a loser. Neither are you. MMA fighters have confidence simply because they need it, but it's earned. Confidence comes from people that they take action. They don't think about stuff. They don't wait for something. They don't wait to get it right. Man, they get in there. They don't wonder. No thinking, no waiting, no wondering. You want to be more confident? Stop thinking, stop waiting, and stop wondering. And the next time you're afraid, do something. Be courageous. And then you're going to find that success is yours only if you want to take it. That's what you're going to have to do. Take it, get it, earn it. So this week, just put some real attention on places where you might have some fear. Because where there's fear, there is opportunity. That's what Grant says, right out of the blog. Where there's fear, there's opportunity. So anytime you get a little fear going on, have some kind of alarm going off, like some opportunity alert. And you may not be an MMA fighter, but life is your octagon. The world is your octagon. And you are going to have to fight. You're going to have to fight for financial success. A lot of stuff going on in the economy right now. And you're going to have to be way more than just ordinary. What does the 10X rule teach us? Average is a failing formula. Becoming a millionaire is not something that's just going to get handed to you. It's not. And even if you win the lottery, most lottery winners are already broke. They don't know anything about holding on to it. So number one, if you earn it, you're definitely going to keep it. So here's the question. Do you have the skills it takes to become super successful? Do you have the skills it takes to be victorious? Everything in life is a sale. That's from Sell or Be Sold. Everything in life is a commission. And if you don't have any sales skills, regardless of what you think you do for a living, ultimately you will get defeated. Whether that means you just going in and getting a raise, getting a loan from a bank to start a business. If you can't sell and close, ultimately you're going to get defeated. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer on you, just like, hey, let's look at that reel. So when you start thinking about now what, right? You got to get on Cardone University. If you're not on Cardone University, you need to be on it. That's the tool for you to become a millionaire or a multimillionaire if you want and if you choose. Grant gets to be your mentor. He's already done it. He will help you get rich, even super rich if you want it, if you want it. And if you don't know enough about Grant, just go drop him into Google. There's another t-shirt. You can fake a Lambo, but you can't fake a jet. So Cardone University will be your tool to creating massive income, assuming that you use it. Now is the time. Go attack your bank account. Put that thing on notice. Call that sucker out. And attack it with the exact same tenacity as Connor approaches his training, his opponents. When he gets in that ring, how focused is he? Okay? If you're not rich, or if you don't get rich, is what I probably should be saying, go out there, get rich for yourself, for your family, so you don't get knocked out in life. And if you need more on that, go read up on that average is a failing formula thing. Go check out a recent podcast I did on the definition of average and what that means and how dangerous it truly is. And this has been another episode of the Cardone Solutions Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. What are we going to do this week? We're going to be paying very, very close attention to where the fear creeps up, creeps in, starts working on you a little bit, and then recognize that this is your opportunity to earn your courage, to earn your confidence, to earn your self-esteem, okay? You do that through what? Choices and behavior. Choices and behavior earn confidence. Use fear, don't get used by it. And again, thank you so much for listening. If you got some value from this bad boy, make sure you share it out into the cyberspace. If you have not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button, man. What are you doing? Come on. Okay? And thank you so much again for being here. I'm going to leave you with the words of Grant Cardone. You know what's coming next. Be great, because nothing else pays. Get out there and fight.